Hi everyone, I know it's been a while and I'm sorry I've just been so busy reading one book. Actually, it's taking me a long time, but it's going to be worth it when I come out with my video review about it. It's a classic, so of course I want to give it my undivided attention and not read any other books in the meantime. But I was stumbling across YouTube and I saw the Tolkien Book Tag by Lilypad, so I decided to jump on the bandwagon and get with it. So the questions are going to be below. I think it's a fabulous list, so let's just jump right into it. Number 1 is Aragorn, a book that ended up being everything that you wanted it to be. And I'm actually going to go with a graphic novel that I don't have right now, and it's the SAGA series. It's my first graphic novel in probably over a decade, and I'm really glad that I started off with SAGA. It's everything that you would want a story about family and space and aliens to be like, and it brings up topics that are just amazing. I love it for this time in my life, and I think everyone should read it. There's a reason why everyone is talking about it. If you think that it might not be for you, give it a chance. Number 2 is Celeborn, your favorite character who often gets overlooked. I'm gonna have to go with, I'm not sure why this came to my head. I forgot about this book actually, but a long time ago I read Stranger in a Strange Land. And it's a classic 70s novel about an alien who comes to the United States and pretty much joins the hippie revolution at the time. And it's kind of nice because you can apply it to modern day Burning Man enthusiasts who believe, I guess, in unity and freedom and being, and it really brings to light how much innocence is probably lost and how quick we are to judge when an alien comes, a very sweet alien, and sees things quite plainly. I thought it was amazing because we don't have stories like that anymore, and I'm really tired of your typical alien story where they're either friend or foe, but this person was just an oddball for the time, but it really fit the time period of the book. I really liked it, and I hope that you guys give it a chance. If you love science fiction, then it's definitely the book for you. If you like social topics, then it's also the book for you. You won't be too freaked out about any alien thing about it. Number 3 is Celebrian, a book or character you wish had got a better ending. If I'm not going on a serious note, I'm going to say Divergent, because, spoiler alert, I believe Tris did not have to die. I really wanted that story to continue, and by killing them off, we kind of lost all possibilities of seeing the story further through her eyes. On a more serious note, I would have to say of Mice and Men. That was intense. So number 4, Sir Dan, the first book you bought or received, or the oldest book you own. This I actually have. This is one of the oldest books that I have from high school, which is The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. I'm a vegetarian and I still haven't read this because this freaks me out, but I remember buying it when I was a teenager because of that reason. So we'll see if I ever get to it. I would have a lot more books from my childhood, but I lived around the corner from a library, so I didn't have many books at home. I'm a library enthusiast, and I probably always will be. But I've moved around a lot and I've lost a lot of boxes, a lot of books that I've owned. If I would have all my things, then I would probably show you a huge collection of the Bernstein Bears, which I thought was great as a kid. Or my Teddy Ruxpin book. That was a pretty old one too, and my favorite one to read at downtime. Number 5 is a book that helped you through a hard time or that you related to the most. So I'm going to pick a book that I didn't relate to at all, but helped me at a certain time, which is Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. And I don't often read classic novels, but when I do, I, like many people, go in with the mentality of feeling a little bit intimidated. I don't have a degree in literature or anything like that, but this was so approachable, and it taught me really about how to value life, even though I had nothing in common with the characters or the situations that they were in. I found a lot of beauty in this book when it comes to appreciating being given a second chance. And it's just absolutely marvelous. If Leo Tolstoy, I'm actually reading another one of his books right now. If you ever feel intimidated by a classic novel, just start it. Start it, maybe take a few notes as you read. It can get a little bit complicated with Tolstoy because he throws a lot of characters at you, not to mention the names, but it is totally worth it. You can do it. If I can, you can, basically. I read a lot of YA and dystopian, so that was definitely a jump for me, but it did teach me a lot about the beauty of second chances at life. Number 6 is Elle Wing, your least favorite fictional character, which I'm gonna have to go with Anastasia Steele. I read all the books and I recently saw the movie, and after seeing the movie is when I realized just how unrealistic and idiotic the character was. You're a person who has never had any intimate experiences, and yet you're jumping into the deep end, and it's not a good idea. Not getting any help, and she really let this person get too close too quickly, and I just don't like her. I don't think she's a good example. But speaking of good examples, we have 7, Eowyn. I know I'm messing up these names, but I haven't read that many Tolkien books. A book with the most badass or just your favorite female character. I'm gonna go with Hermione from Harry Potter because I think she was an excellent role model, and she was probably, I just know, especially if where you like fan fiction and you like J.K. Rowling's Pottermore and you see their future, she continues to get stronger and more politically active, and just everything that she did was great. I thought it was awesome. And Faramore, number 8, a sequel that ended up being better than you expected. I don't have an answer for this one. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and tell me, but I don't really read too many sequels. I like single novels, and I'm not a fan of series. I was as a kid, but nowadays I just want to read a book and get it over with so I can move on to the next amazing book. Number 9 is a book where the characters consistently make really stupid decisions. And I'm gonna have to go with Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. This is my first or second favorite novel of all time, and I love it because Scarlett O'Hara is pretty much the girl that can't take a hint, and the girl that can't learn from her mistakes, and the girl who can't let go of, privilege, and because of the time period and because of her wealth and the way she was raised and her Irish background and the sibling rivalry, it's just, she's so foolish that you can't help but adore her. I learned a lot from this book, and it's marvelous. I know it's a little bit too much to handle. It's small text, it's hundreds of pages, but trust me, this is the best romance novel, soap opera type novel that you will ever read in your life. It's amazing. Definitely top first or second book of all time that I love. Maybe after War and Peace. And number 10 is a book that didn't live up to the hype. This one for me is really easy because I loved the movie, and I saw the movie before I read the book. I did not know that the book existed. And when I got it, The Princess Bride, I was so disappointed. The princess in itself, she doesn't say much. She doesn't have much character, and she's not anything special in the book. And the end of the book ended up on such a dark note. It's written with two perspectives. It's written with the actual story, and it's written by the author talking about writing the story and selling it to a publisher. So it's really two stories in one. It's not about a book being read to a little boy, mostly, although the book was read to him as a child, and now he's writing it. He's actually translating the book, so it's got all these little clauses and all of these footnotes that just could have been left out. And spoiler alert, at the end, the last note from the author of the book, in the book, it's a little complicated, is that I have to say for the umpty-umpth time that life isn't fair. It's just fairer than death, that's all. New York City, February 1973. That's not a nice way to end one of your favorite childhood novels, I'll have to say. And the ending ran a little bit flat. I loved the fight scene in The Princess Bride when they're all in the castle towards the end of the book. But in this novel, it ran only a few pages long, and it just fell so flat. Big disappointment. Number 11, Gil-galad, a fictional death you'll never get over. I'm gonna have to go back to Harry Potter and say Fred and George. I mean, that just did not have to happen. It was unfair, and it leads me to my next point of fictional friendship. 12, Camille. They were the ultimate friendship, these two twin brothers, and they really held the family together with their silliness and their presence and their humor. And though they brought a lot of stress to their mother, and their father was a little bit more tolerant, they were just amazing characters. And I felt like J.K. Rowling, she was writing Harry Potter, took it more seriously than she was supposed to. There was even a point where she was going to kill off Ron, and I don't think I would have been able to handle Ron and then Fred and George. It's too many family members. So, and Percy lived. Like, it's not fair. Number 13, Legolas, your prettiest book. And I'm going to have to go with my edition of The Adventures of Robin Hood, because it's absolutely beautiful. It's everything that I would expect this novel to look like. I love that it's hardcover and it has the gold here, and it's perfect reading text. It's not too small, and it just has that, you can hear it when you flip a page and you open it. It's just so nice. The binding is so nice, and it's soft and leathery over here, and it's just, oh, the colors. It's so pretty, especially for it being a Robin Hood book. It looks like I actually got it from a certain time period that is not now. So I love that. And 14 would be most physically damaged book. So I've just given up saying the names of the Tolkien characters because that one's too complicated. I have this really sad, broken up book, and it's all yellow and the pages are all dirty, because I got it 50 cents outside of the Strand, which is New York City's best bookstore, and it's D.H. Lawrence Selected Poems, and it's got the tag where I ripped it off, and this book is just, look at this. Did she really just do that? Yes, she did. It's a really sad copy that I have. And for 15, which is the last question, I have a book that you have forgotten. And I'm going to have to go with a separate piece. I was sifting through used books outside of the Strand, which I love to do. And this was a recommendation of someone who said they had read it in high school, but it was certainly not a high school type read for me. This is absolutely beautiful. It's extremely well written. I didn't relate to the characters at all, and I kind of loved that I could get so involved with the book, the way it's written, and the characters that they have, without being a wealthy high school boy, you know, with in a prep school. It was just so far off. But I really connected with the way this was written and the way the characters were presented. And if you want a short read and you want it it's very short, if you want to take a chance on something, then definitely take a chance on a separate piece. It's classically written. It's absolutely amazing. I loved it so much, and the characters are very intelligent, so you get some really great discourse out of it. So I love that. And that's pretty much all. Next video is going to be a review of Anna Karenina, which I don't normally read classic books, but I really want to talk about it because it's such a life changer. And to give you a little bit of a preview, I guess I can read some of my notes. There are so many characters in that book that when I started reading it, I didn't make the same mistake that I did when I started War and Peace, which is also Leo Tolstoy. And if you don't know that, then dude. But I have my character map, so that way I know who's related to who's sisters, who's brothers, who ends up all over the place. So I'm excited. I took notes on this one, which I normally don't. So that's our video for today. I'm glad I can make an internet presence, and hopefully you will do this tag too, because it's pretty cool. Alright, so thanks to LilyPad, who actually reblogged this, and stay awesome.